Hi everybody, Keith Jones down on the beautiful first floor here at Parks Racing. My friend Dick Girardi and Dick Maximus Mischief wowed us a couple of weeks ago. We were hoping he was going to wow us again over the weekend.
Yeah, no, everybody was really looking forward to this, including the Butch Reed family. Ginny, Butch's wife, spent the night in the barn with the horse. She was texting me just to letting me know what was going on, but that's what happens when you get a fast 2-year-old.
Dick, we're going to get to Maximus here in just a second, but there is some news. We've been running without a racing director here for just a bit, but Dave Osenak has come down from New York, and he is our new racing director.
Right, and he's worked with some really good people in New York, including our good friend Mike Lakow, of course, was here for years as a placing judge, worked in the office, and works up in New York now. So yeah, we'll get him on the show here shortly.
Absolutely. So we'll welcome Dave in here in a couple of weeks after we get through the Breeders' Cup. But let's get to our Maximus Mischief race. The first time out, he went 5.5 furlongs. We're going to go to 7/8 today. Was a first level allowance, and Dick, it ends up with a field of 3, but that's really not what's important. Dick, September 29th was his debut. His buyer came back in at 82. Now, he worked since then. He worked on October 13th, a half mile, 46-3.
Right, 46-3 on this racetrack is just flying because, as you know, the track has been, essentially the service has been producing slow times most of the year, except when Maximus Mischief runs, and nothing's ever slow.
Well, Dick, he breaks from post position number 3. Mike Boswich was in for the vacationing Keith Jones and had the pleasure of the call. Let's take a look at Maximus Mischief in his second career start.
They're off and racing, and Maximus Mischief fires out of there. In between rivals, Absentee, and towards the inside, Billy, you're fired. Up the back stretch to shoot they go. Frankie Pennington looking for his second straight wins. Got Maximus Mischief on a 3.5 length lead. Racing a bit wide as they go into the main course. The Absentee is right there second. Billy, you're fired. Skips the rail third, but it's Maximus Mischief. Pennington grabs hold now. Leads it by a length and a quarter. 23 for that opening quarter. Maximus Mischief in front by a length. The Absentee takes closer orders second, and up the inside, Billy, you're fired, races third. They head towards the far turn. On top, Maximus Mischief, unchallenged, uncontested, loafing along out there, one to the good. Absentee moves to within 3 parts now as they round the turn. Arroyo setting that one down for the drive, 46-3 for the half. 4 lengths back to Billy, you're fired, who's third, but it's Maximus Mischief under confident Pennington handling up by a length and a half as they come to the top of the stretch. Absentees all out to stay with. 5 back to Billy, you're fired. They straighten away for the stretch drive. Maximus Mischief leads it by 2.5. Absentees roused in second. Way back to Billy, you're fired third, but it's Maximus Mischief. Pennington starts to ask now inside the 8th pole, and he responds. Maximus Mischief up by 5, now 6. Absentee can only watch. They come down to the finish. Maximus Mischief, one small step closer to Louisville.
Well, Dick, in his first start, he just shot out of the gate. He did it again.
He did.
I mean, he was absolutely out of there like a bullet. And go on and break this down, Dick. He did, again, does it so easily.
Yeah, look, he's an incredibly talented horse. One of the many things I really like about him is how good of a turn runner he is. And turns are huge. That's what races are won and lost. This horse is just really agile. Love the fact that Absentee, a really good Alan Goldberg horse that we saw here break his maiden on PA Derby Day, gave him a little run on the turn. Then Frankie just said, you know, that's it. It's over. Wins by 6. All right, let's Lou Zagnut, the longtime chart caller, who's seen a lot of good horses, called it another eye-catching performance in his footnotes. I think that's fair to say. The track was incredibly slow. So 125.22. The next 2 7-furlong races, which came up right after, went more than 5 seconds slower.
Wow.
So when it was all computed and the buyer figure came up 98, which is the best by a 2-year-old in North America in 2018. That is 1 point better than Game Winner. You've got a 97 when he won the American Pharaoh. He'll be the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So this horse stacks up. There isn't any question. The talent is there. He runs a little strange at times because I think he's still learning it. But boy, Butch Reed, Chuck Zagnut, and Glenn Bennett, the owners, they have some horse to be excited about. What's next is almost certainly a 1 mile or longer race, probably in New York. The Remsen is the most likely on December 1st. That's a 1.8 miles. There's also a race on Thanksgiving Day that's a turf race. It's a 1.16 miles. They're not going to run on the turf, but if it comes off, it will be a flat mile. That's at least a thought. I think they'd rather run a mile at this point than a 1.8 miles. But the idea is at some point you got to go longer. And if everything goes right, the plan is then not long after that, send him to Gulfstream Park, start thinking about some of those Kentucky Derby preps. But this is clearly the most exciting 2-year-old prospect at Parks in 15 years since Smarty Jones was stabled here in 2003.
Well, this could be a very, very exciting
it's obvious. You just watch him run. He's so smooth. He's got that great long stride, and it's effortless. Frankie actually showed him the whip in this race. Just that, hey, it's here. But he hasn't felt it, and he doesn't look like he's going to need it anytime soon.
Well, it's exciting. This is really
it is, and for Butch,
a horse of this national
for
quality.
Butch and Ginny have been in the game forever. It's great for them, and of course Chuck has been around good horses. Glenn's a great guy. They had a huge crowd out here. Glenn Bennett actually had a bigger entourage on Saturday than Chuck Zackney. Think about that. That's when you know
that's tough.
That doesn't happen very often. Chuck was just here with his son Alex. Glenn had a table of many.
It is a great pleasure to welcome in none other than jockey Frankie Pennington, who is the regular rider of Maximus Mischief. And Frankie, thank you for joining us. This has a chance to be a terrific couple of months for you coming up over the next, I guess, 8 months as we head toward May, maybe. But Frankie, let's take you back to the first morning that you got on Maximus Mischief. Tell us what Butch told you before you got on and what were your impressions of him.
It was funny because Butch told me, he's like, Frankie, I want you getting on this coat. He's a nice coat, and I want you to work him. So we was heading out, and actually the other horse that I worked with, I worked last time, and that horse for Butch worked really good. So I was with the Bug Boy, we worked the set for Butch, and Luis Fuentes was on the horse, and I told Luis, I go, hey, that horse is a nice horse. I worked him last time, he worked really good. And I was on Maximus, this is the first time I worked him, so he's like, all right, so we back up, and then we break loose from the half-mile pole, and my feet were in the dashboard, and I'm like, wow, it's got something special here.
Frankie, to the regular layperson, you jockeys obviously get on horses all the time. Are you able to describe to us what feels different to a jockey when you get on a really good horse? How do you know?
You know, when you get on that really good one, he does everything for you, and it's like, you know, when I was saying I worked the other horse worked good, and then all of a sudden you get on one that's toting you around there and doing it, you know, working, you know, 59 and doing it that easy in hand you're like, wow, I mean, you could just feel like it's like a difference in cars, you know what I mean? You could feel like that supercharger in them.
You ever had a horse break this fast?
I had a horse break fast, but not a 2-year-old that fast, that's for sure.
And when he's in a race, can you tell how fast you're going?
You know, you could tell how fast he's going because he does relax once he gets out there, but the way he leaves the gate is amazing. I mean, he outbreaks the gate, which is good always put you in a good position.
You know, down the road, there's going to be distance races. What's your impression of him as you get a little longer?
I think he's a colt that can go run all day. Like, he just seems to never get tired, and he just seems like he can just keep going and going. So I think the longer the distance, I think would be great for him.
Frankie, so far everything has come very easy for him. Obviously, as we move forward, that's probably not going to be the case. He's going to get tested, he's going to get eyeballed, and that's one thing we don't know about. But he certainly has the physical abilities. How about his mental abilities?
You know, he's a smart colt. He's just a happy colt. He's like a big kid. We always, you know, in the barn we call him he's a big kid because he likes to play around, and you know, he is who he is. But overall, I mean, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he should be all right.
Right. The night before the race, Ginny Reed spent the night at the barn because they were so excited about this. How about for you? You've been on good horses, but you haven't been in this situation before. You have a horse too, going into the possibility of next year. Yeah,
I mean, you got to give credit to Ginny and Butch Reed, both of them. They do such an amazing job, and for Ginny to, you know, stay over in the room all night, I mean, that takes heart and effort. So I give it to Ginny for that, and that was pretty cool.
And for you, thinking ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, you know, one of the nicest 2-year-olds I ever been on for sure, and hopefully, you know, keep it going. I mean, he's a special horse.
Frankie, what would it mean to you to come out of that tunnel on that first Saturday in May? Have you thought about that?
It's still a long ways away, but you know, it would definitely be a dream come true to be able to be walking out on Maximus in May. Yeah.
You know, we've been around you for a long time. We've watched your career watch you mature as a rider. I don't think that spot's too big for you, Frankie. I think it's time, and I think you're ready, and I think you'd do yourself proud and do all of us proud. So best of luck as we move forward with this magnificent 2-year-old, and I can't wait to give you that trophy again when we come up to the award ceremony, 5 consecutive championships. Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie Pennington. Frankie, congratulations.
Thank you very much.